Mother's Voice podcast.
The Mother's Voice
Mother's
podcast.
Voice podcast. Tales of motherhood from around the world.
Hello and welcome to Season 2 of the Mother's Voice podcast. My name is Marion Duggan and it's my pleasure to share with you these interviews which have been recorded with a number of different women about their experience of early motherhood. For this season of the podcast, we've partnered with Derby Museum and Art Gallery and would like to thank their volunteer team who have made these interviews possible. Each episode has been edited from a longer conversation into pieces somewhere between 8 and 10 minutes long, and we hope we've distilled some of the complicated joy, hard work and overwhelming change that these mothers have experienced. For more information about the Mother's Voice and the wider project Nightlight Lullabies, please visit murmurationarts.co.uk or follow the link in the show notes. Thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoy listening to these interviews as much as we enjoyed recording them. Episode 3. Debbie Marshall.
So I'm Deborah Marshall, but I'm called Debbie Marshall. I'm 54, and my kids, Bradley's 32, Abby is 27, and then I've got Marina, who's 18, who's my stepdaughter, and Josh, who's 15, and my stepson. So I was born in 1970 to a mother who was 15 and a father who was 16 in a day that society's morals didn't accept that, and I was adopted as a baby. I've always known I was adopted, so I've never got one of them big shocking surprises when I got my birth certificate or my passport or anything else. When I was 18, I did meet the original family. I don't see them now, let me put it that way. I did see them for a bit in my sort of later teenage, early 20s, but I'd got no connection to these people. They live in Derby. Yes, I was adopted by June and Brian, who couldn't have children at the time, but then went on to have my brothers Mark and Jonathan. They just said they wanted a baby too much. That was the medical explanation as to why they couldn't have children, and then all of a sudden they ended up free. I had a fantastic, privileged, wonderful upbringing. My parents are still the most important people to me apart from the kids. I didn't really give a toss about school. I was more interested in the boys that went there. I got 1 O-level at school by absolute accident in English. And my parents didn't push me at all to be in any way academic. I did used to be a model, so I was more based on what I looked like at the time. People didn't push girls in that day in the same way. I was very different in my parenting to my parents' parenting. My mum used to make me come in before my friends. So she'd go on street, because we'd play on the street, all of us. It was a safe street. My mum and dad got a really big, posh, £500,000 house down the road. And she'd shout, "Deborah, tea's ready!" I was shame. I had to go in because they were so rigid on the routines of whatever, and they didn't give a toss what anybody else did or what anybody else thought, whereas I made sure my kids fit right in with everybody. I was a person that did sit on the floor. You know, you get these people sitting on the phones and everything else. I watched Teletubbies on repeat with my kids and grew to love it. So I was always playing and singing whatever the strange toys were singing. I'd sing everything. Nursery rhymes, everything but that. "You are my sunshine" is what I sing to them because they were my sunshine and still are to this day. So all I wanted in life was family. I wanted children of my own. I wanted people what looked like me, people that were my blood, because I had none. I just wanted a family. I wanted children of my own. I wanted a connection. So I met the father of my kids, got pregnant. I was 21 when Bradley was born. Then I had Abby, and then I had Ethan. When I was pregnant with Bradley, I did not bond with the pregnancy. You know, you see all these people cooing over the bellies. And it's not a good sign for people that don't bond with the bump. But I didn't particularly. And I got dead thin, and I got this great big belly. I wasn't prepared for all of that because I did used to be a model, so I was a bit more like that in them days, not a scruffy ferret. So I think all through like being pregnant, I was sort of getting what I wanted in my 21-year-old mind, but didn't really know what to expect. I knew my life was going to change. And then the most amazing thing happened, because the first time I set eyes, when he was born, I had a terrible labour as well, set eyes on him, changed my life completely. And yeah, he's the apple of my eye. And so are the other two. I was madly in love. Madly in love. I just couldn't believe it. He was beautiful. He was perfect. He still is beautiful. He still is the most beautiful thing. And the other two kids, all my kids are very, very good looking. Children, teenagers, adults, they all are, but it's just something special about him. Oh, Bradley. And everybody knows it, he knows it. The other two know it. But overwhelmingly wonderful. I've not got nephews and nieces. I've not got young cousins in my family or anything, because my parents were both only children. So I'd got no idea. I didn't even have friends that had babies. I wanted to buy everything plastic, everything that made a noise, and overcompensate for the crapness of not knowing what I was doing and all that. But I had a fabulous health visitor, and she lived at the bottom of my mum and dad's street, so I knew her. And so she'd helped me lots. There's 5 years between Bradley and Abby, because I decided I would never have another one because it was such a horrific birth. And then I thought, well, he can't be an only child. He needs brothers and sisters and stuff. So I had Abby. Abby's like a genius. And she's probably high functioning autism, but when somebody at school suggested she has autism, I went crazy. How dare you? You know, that sort of thing. But she probably has. She thinks she has, and I think she has. But she's a history teacher. She went to Lancaster University and got a first-class honours degree in history. One of the most proudest moments. And I could foresee that when she was 2, and decided I'd best go to university myself to show her that it can be done. And I did it. But there we go, that's a different story. And then Ethan was a complete surprise. Abby was only 1, so there's 18 months between them. And it did cross my mind to have an abortion. Ethan is the angel child, but then when he was 16 months old, he got leukemia, so then I had to suffer a lot of guilt from my abortion thinking. That was absolutely abysmal. Ethan was completely dependent and had a very weird attachment with me, where I couldn't even go to the toilet. If I was out of sight, the treatment for leukemia is very invasive and horrible for a little one. And there's a lot of quite abusive medical practices that go on, but they're for the right purpose, but you can't explain that to a little one, can you? So yeah, he was quite traumatised. He's not now, but I am. I'll never get over it. Not ever. He didn't die, and he's just bought a house that he bought with his girlfriend on Friday. But it's all these experiences that made me want to give something back. It had a massive impact on my family. And I think my kids as well have always been very careful who's got them pregnant or who gets them pregnant, because they have learned from my experience. Well, none of them, apart from the youngest one, have actually got a girlfriend or boyfriend, so you need to have a serious relationship. And when I had my kids, 2 people didn't have to work to pay a 40 grand mortgage, but they do to pay a 200 one. So I suppose it will be what will be.
This podcast was created by Murmuration Arts and produced by the Academic Podcast Agency as part of Nightlight Lullabies Derby. Made possible by the National Lottery Heritage Fund and Arts Council England, in partnership with Derby Museums, the Royal School for the Deaf Derby and Derby Feste. Supported by D Youth Hub, Action Deafness and Family Hubs Derby.